this video we're going to go over order scheduling from the CRM page. So we have individual videos for specifically scheduling an inbound order, scheduling an outbound order in the recycling module. However, we don't have one comprehensive video that is a hybrid between the two. So this video will do that. It's going to show you basically everything that you can do from the CRM page as you're a customer service rep and you're about to schedule an order. So first I'm going to use ABC123 as my demo customer for this demo, and first thing I'm going to do is when I click on ABC123, there's some buttons here at the top that are added. We have schedule inbound, schedule walk-in, schedule outbound. These are all now enabled. So to schedule an inbound order, so basically anything that you're bringing into your warehouse, you're going to be scheduling an inbound order, and you can get into more detail once you schedule the order, like creating a contract and bringing orders in on a contract, so on and so forth. But basically anything that you're going to be bringing into your warehouse, you really want to use this schedule inbound button here. So I'm going to click on that, and then it opens up our order scheduling modal. So first things at the top, you notice that you have your customer name, ABC123, the rep. So the rep is by default the owner of the account. So Connor is the owner of account ABC123. Because this is the actual order that I'm scheduling, I can change this, and I can change the name of the person, the rep in the system that is owning this order. So you can change this at the order level as well. Sales order terms, this is going to default to the customer's sales order default payment terms. In this case, it's defaulted to net 15, but I can change this at the order level as well. Also the warehouse. So as a user, I can only see the warehouses that I am added to on my user profile page. So this particular user has the Philadelphia warehouse, Arizona warehouse, East Asia warehouse. So you can choose which warehouse this is going to be coming into. First thing you notice at the top is the logistic type. So logistic type, if you're using your own trucks, or if you're using a common carrier or a client drop-off. So when I select these options here, you can see that the information below is changing. And basically it's just for your own trucking, you're removing any truck information. Common carrier and client drop-off, you're going to be choosing a freight carrier. And that's pretty much it with logistic type. So I'm going to do our trucking. At the top here we have the BOL number. So if you have a bill of lading number, you can put that in here. If this came in through a purchase order, so if maybe you created a purchase order first and the customer signed off on it, and now you want to add that PO number as a reference, and so it's referenced against this order, you can do that. You can type in internal notes here. So when you type in this internal notes, at the receiving stage, when the truck reaches your docks and you're about to receive in the order, the internal notes is going to be carried over to that receive stage. So when your team's processing the order, you have an internal notes section that doesn't show up on your paperwork that allows you to communicate with your team. You can choose a service type. So this is just a generic service type. This isn't all the services in the system, because on this pricing tab here, you're going to be adding in all the services for this order. This is just the generic service that you're providing for the customer. So in this case, we'll just say electronics disposal. The pickup date, you just want to choose your pickup date here. So I'm going to choose the following day. And service is basically your duration on site. So how long is your team going to be on site? We'll say an hour. You want to give your customer a time window. So we'll say between 1 and 3 p.m. we'll be there. For on-site contact, you can choose your on-site contact. Alternative contact, if there's an alternative contact that you want to include in here, you can do that as well. Pickup location, so for this customer, you can choose the different pickup locations that are the different addresses that are associated to this customer by clicking in here and choosing one of these addresses. For the ship to location, obviously, if you're doing a third party, if you're doing a blind shipment, you can choose another customer and choose that address if you're not going to be bringing it into your own warehouse. If you are bringing it into your own warehouse, you can click in this field here and choose which address for your warehouse that the material should be arriving to. At the bottom here, you want to put in your estimated material and weights, which is your estimated pallet count and then estimated total weight. Choose the condition of the goods, new or used, and that's pretty much it for the main information. So you can get by on this. At this point, you can either send this order to dispatch or create the order or create a quote. There's more information here on the left-hand side that I'm going to run through real quickly, and that will give you a more detailed order. And depending on how your business model is, maybe you just want to do the bare bones, which in this case, this is it, and you can create the order and go on your way. I'm going to click on order details here on the left-hand side. If you notice that I get a pop-up question, it says, how should the provided information be saved? So basically it's just asking if you want to proceed as a quote or as an order. I'm going to proceed right as an order. If I chose quote, it would have created a new quote and it would have tied it to that customer, and later on, once I send that quote to the customer and they approve it, I can go back in, easily convert it to an order, and use it as an order from there. So I'm on the order details side, navigation here, and if you look here at the location details at the top, basically this is any information that you're going to be adding in for the location details. Maybe that there's a special wing that the material is at, you can put that in there, and basically anything that you put in here, it's going to be captured on the work order and the bill of lading. So the applicable building logistics, so we have these building logistics here that are typical for when you're doing a pickup that your team would have to be aware of before they go on site. Maybe that they need elevator access, so they know that they have to contact the security guard to get the freight key for the elevator access. Maybe you want to tell them that there's some steps that they're going to have to be prepared to go up, and if they have to, there's a lift gate. Maybe they need an access key to get into the gate. Building notes, you can type in building notes here. Any special instructions for the BOL, you can type in this field. Pickup processing notes. So the pickup processing notes is going to be reflected on the processing stage of the inbound order. So when you're receiving it in, there's going to be special processing notes. You can put that in there, and your team will know how to handle the material. Equipment and supplies. You can customize your equipment and supplies in the system settings, and you can choose which equipment that you are going to be bringing on site. So in this case, we can say that we're going to need a pallet jack. We're going to need to bring 5 pallets, and we might need a moving box. So you can change your quantities. This is going to be reflected on your work order. So once you're done with this order and your team is about to go out and pick up the shipment, you can provide a work order to your driver, and he'll have all this information and he'll know exactly what he needs to bring on site. Required documents. So if there's a certificate of insurance required, you can check this box and put this in the notes. Calendar, you can see other pickups that are taking place on that particular day. So you want to make sure that you're not double booking yourself. You can take a quick look at the weekly calendar. Pricing. So pricing, this is when you're predicting what commodities and what services that you're going to be receiving on site. So if you have a pricing template, you can put the pricing template in here. So I have here a February 2016 ABC 123 pricing list. I'm going to apply this, and I have a couple commodities on that pricing list. If you wanted to include every single commodity in the system with its particular price, if you set that up in your pricing templates, you can apply that, and that's a really good way of really streamlining your pricing on all your commodities and streamlining the settlement stage. When you're going to invoice the customer, all the pricing is going to be taken care of because of this. So definitely suggest looking into pricing templates and creating pricing templates and using that. You can see here in the pricing template, you can also include services. So if you have a list of all your services, you can put that in here. And you know, if some people want to choose like a gold member package, if you want to break up your customers into separate tiers, you know, you can create pricing templates based on the gold package, the platinum package, silver package, however you want to set it up. But the pricing templates are definitely a big plus. If you want to have any requirements on your commodities, you can click on requirements. So these are processing requirements that you're going to force your techs to do at the processing stage of the inbound order. So you can, you know, require an item count, you can require taking a picture of this, and you can require notes. For the audit requirements, you can also force them to test the material and capture the manufacturer, model, serial, and category. So we'll click OK. And then on the inbound processing stage, all of those requirements are going to need to be taken place by your team. If you want to add in commodities one at a time rather than using a pricing template, you can scroll to the bottom here. You can search for commodities and then apply it. And we have a commodity here. I'm going to click this checkbox and then move it up here. And then if I want to put a pricing on it at this point, I can say, let's make this 50 cents per pound. You can change the weight or the unit or flat fee, so you can choose how you want to actually charge this 50 cents. If you said 50 cents per unit, basically you'd have to do an item count and pay the customer based on the unit count. So that's one way to add commodity. You can also add services the same way by going into the services tab, clicking a service, moving it up here, and then single clicking and adding price. So as you can see, the pricing templates are very useful in this case because they just make this process a whole lot faster. But if you wanted to add your commodities and services in one at a time, you can do that, no problem. You can also skip this and do this all at the settlement stage, but you know, this is a good practice to do it here. The notification set. So if you have a notification set in the system, you can actually choose to send out external notifications to the customer. This isn't really recommended at this point. Not too many of our customers are sending external notifications, but you can do that. That option's there available if you want to. The types of notifications that you can send are when the order has been received, when the order has been settled. So the reason why our customers don't tend to use this is because their customers don't really care when the order has been received, and also providing that information of when the order is settled is not typically best practice, because if there's maybe a month in between of you know, settling the order and then auditing it, you know, that information doesn't really benefit their customer. Files, if you need to drop any files in for this particular order, you can do that. If there's a contract, maybe there's a one-off addendum to a contract that you want to throw into this particular order, you can do that just by clicking the add files and adding it in from your desktop. Images, same thing. Contract, if there's a contract associated to this customer, you can add in that contract here. Because I don't have any contracts for customer ABC123, there's nothing showing up. Okay, so once you're finished, click Save Order, and the order's been saved. If I click on this link here, it's going to take me to the actual inbound processing stage, so I don't want to do that just yet. I'm just going to click OK. Okay, so that was the schedule inbound process. Obviously, I could probably do spend a little bit more time on that and go over the logistics type and show you how to do a common carrier versus a client drop-off as well, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just changing the logistic type here, and at the bottom here you can see that there's a freight carrier, and you can add in the freight carrier. On a previous demo, on a previous video in this playlist, you can see how to add a new freight carrier in the system if you don't know how to do that. But this is basically the difference between doing our trucking common carrier and then client drop-off. So I'm going to close this. Now I'm going to show you how to schedule an outbound order. So if I click on schedule outbound, this is for when you're shipping goods out of your warehouse to another location. So you click on the customer, you click on schedule outbound, and again you have the customer name, sales order terms, warehouse that it's associated to, the rep, and you can choose the shipping method. So if it's a truck or if you're doing a container, if you change the shipping method, it's going to change the information here. It will add a consignee, a shipper, and then a notified party. If you just leave it at truck, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it just has a pickup location and a ship to location. So if you, at this point, you can choose a shipping option if you want to do common carrier or client scheduled. Client scheduled is if they're going to come and pick it up from you. So we'll just leave it as our trucking. Choose a pickup date. Estimated pallet count. So if you're estimating that you're going to have 5 pallets at 5,000 pounds, you can put that in. You can choose the truck that you're going to be dropping off the material, and you can choose your ship to location for the customer here. If you're doing a common carrier, you can choose common carrier. It's going to add in the freight carrier at the bottom. At this point, you can choose a freight carrier, and that's how you do common carrier. Client scheduled is if the client is doing a pickup and they need to add in the basically just adding in the freight information. If the client is the freight, if the client's picking up the material, if you notice here when I click in, it just has basically your LTLs. But what you can do is you can go into that account. So this customer ABC123, I can go into the account here and tag them as a freight carrier, and then that option would be available here. Notifications, same thing as the inbound side, but you can add in your notifications here. Same thing with files, images, notes, and you can link commodities here. Once you're finished, you can click save. At the top, you can add in a purchase order number if you'd like to. You can download a BLL report. And here's your BLL report. Okay, so once that's finished, your recycling team would take over, and they can go into the inbound order and start receiving it in, or they can go into the outbound orders and load the truck. So a couple different options there, but as the CRM person for order scheduling, you're basically going to be using your schedule inbound, your schedule outbound, and the last thing I haven't showed you is scheduling a walk-in. Scheduling a walk-in is just a really quick order. You just click schedule a walk-in, and we have an order here, 10427, and I can click in here, find the order. And at this point, if I want to change the order details, I can do that. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. For more helpful videos, check out our YouTube channel, or you can email us at support@razorerp.com.